Welcome to our house. This is the Screenplay Podcast. I am your host, Evan Grenis, and with me, as always, PGA Tour champion, Andrew Novak.
Yo, what's up? Week 2 of the season, going through some more teams. We've had some preseason games. Excited to talk a little football with y'all.
AFC North, AFC South this week. If you like the Screenplay Podcast, please get on YouTube, subscribe at Screenplay_podcast. We got full-length podcasts on there and shorts up there as well. We're on socials at Screenplay_podcast. From now through the Super Bowl, you can catch us on Wednesdays, 8 a.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We have also launched the ScreenplayPodcast.com. On there, you can find our picks of the week, merch, where you can see Andrew on tour, and more. We also put a Survivor pool up there. We're going to be talking about that later. So get on there, buy some more merch, support the pod. All right, I just said this, but AFC North, AFC South, deep dive this week. But first, let's just get to your golf last week for a second. You played out in Memphis, St. Jude, had a great week, finished tied 6th. I think that locked you up for the Masters, didn't it?
Yeah, I should be set to top 30 this season, make it to East Lake, and that does earn you a Masters invite. So very excited about that.
That's got to be
for
one of
sure.
the most exciting things. I mean, the pinnacle of golf, getting there, getting to play there next April. You'll be looking for that Masters invite. This week, where are you? Owings Mills, Maryland, Caves Valley. Have you played the course yet?
Yeah, I played the back nine today. It is very long. It is essentially just Quail Hollow North. Going to be a lot of guys just hitting driver as far as they can and then figuring out from there.
I don't know why this has been in my mind, but are there any caves on this course anywhere? Like, I guess I'm thinking about like the
No.
Mayakoba, Mexico course, how there's just a cave on it, and I'm like, there's got to be a cave on this course if they're calling it this.
Yeah, no, but it is about as hilly a golf course as I've ever played, and it's going to be like 90, 95 degrees, so caddies are going to be struggling this week.
This morning, you, Chris Gotterup, I think I saw Michael Phelps. Y'all were out at Ravens camp. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I got to hang out a little bit with Ray Lewis as well, which being a Miami Hurricanes fan was pretty incredible. But yeah, no, I got to go out there, see practice. It was nothing too crazy. They were in just shells, doing mostly like walkthrough stuff. Looked like a lot of situational stuff, some goal line, a lot of end game scenarios. They were throwing some laterals out there and trying to set some stuff up. Definitely saw some cool stuff. It was a little different seeing more of that style practice versus Jaguars practice that I saw a couple weeks ago. That was more. They were in pads that day. They were hitting. So it was really cool to see the Ravens facility. A lot of cool people there. They put some money into that thing. It is really, really nice. So definitely shout out to the Ravens for having me out there. That was a really cool day.
I saw you talking to the players about the golf course. Did they give you any? They give you any tips for this week?
Yeah, there's some golfers on the team.
Who are the golfers on that team?
Kyle Hamilton.
Ooh.
Sounds like he's a pretty good player. Let's see. Marlon Humphrey's a big golfer. Kyle Van Noy is a big golfer. All the specialists play golf. It seemed like.
That's pretty sick.
But yeah,
pretty nice perk of being able to get out there and do stuff like that.
Yeah, a few of the guys had said they'd literally played the course within the last week or two, so I was getting some tips from them. We'll see. We'll see how that stacks up to what I'm seeing. But it was really cool being out there.
That's awesome. Who's your favorite player that you talked to from the Ravens camp?
Man, that's tough. Getting to talk to Ray was really, really cool. I've been watching that guy since I was young, so that was definitely pretty special. I had no idea he was going to be out there, so that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, pretty awesome. All right, let's get into the football preseason week 1. I'm going to be honest, I don't care about the preseason that much. When I see players playing well and I see stats that are put up, I always look back to Zach Wilson preseason as a Jet, 64% passing, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 115 passer rating. Obviously, that didn't work out. The preseason for me, I don't take too much from it, but what are your biggest takeaways that you've seen so far?
Yeah, preseason can definitely skew stuff. I think people definitely overreact to it. I saw Ashton Genty had 3 carries for -1 yard, and his ADP started dropping a little bit.
I know.
That's ridiculous. But there's some of it you can definitely take. A lot of people were hyping up Shador for his performance. But the first two drives when the Panthers had starters in, they had a 3-and-out and then got a couple first downs and the drive stalled. So he did look great. He made some great passes later on, but you got to kind of look at some of the things when you're playing against a team that had historically the worst defense in the history of the NFL and didn't really get it going until you were playing their third and fourth stringers. Maybe got to pump the brakes a little bit there. Overall, like I think pretty much most any team will tell you they just want to come out of the games healthy. And for the most part, teams did, but there are a few big injuries that we probably need to touch on.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I saw Jamar play one quarter, 15 points in one quarter. So I think you can mark it down right now. If you got the number one pick in your draft, you're taking Jamar. Not much option there. My other big takeaway was Caleb not playing. I thought Caleb Williams would play. It just kind of tells me that maybe him and Ben Johnson aren't up to the level that they just quite want to be. They don't want to take the heat for a week about the play that he had in the preseason game. Yeah, let's get to the injuries. Any injuries you want to touch on?
I think the biggest one this week, Rashawn Slater, Chargers losing that left tackle. I know they got Joe Alt. He can kick over, first round pick from last year, but still, like losing a guy like that, probably a top 5 player at the position in the NFL, like that's brutal. That's something that you're counting on. And even with Alt kicking over, now who's playing right tackle? It's a tough situation to be in. It sucks. I mean, he just signed a big extension too, so the whole situation,
it
is
is
super tough.
But I will say, I think you'd rather have that happen now than maybe 3 or 4 weeks into the season, where you gotta like shuffle it around during actual like gameplay.
Yeah, maybe so. Still, like replacing a player of that talent level though is not going to be easy, especially with what this team wants to do.
$130-something million deal, so that's gonna be a big miss for the Chargers.
Yeah, there are a few other little dings, but I think that's probably the most serious, impactful player that's gone down so far. The Tyjae Spears high ankle sprain, that's a little concerning. I mean, high ankle sprains, they suck.
On Tyjae Spears, we were texting about it a couple weeks ago. We thought he was a good sleeper running back.
Especially in like PPR settings, stuff like that. But obviously now he's going to be, maybe a week or two missed in the regular season, but even still, like coming back off of that, probably a little slow. He'll be a little behind schedule, so that'll be a tough start to the year for him. And then Jordan Love, I saw he's getting something cleaned up with his non-throwing hand. Says he's going to be fine by week 1, but still kind of not really ideal time to be missing some reps.
The only other one I want to look at is I didn't realize Brandon Ayuk would be out for as long as he is.
Yeah,
I think Kyle Shanahan said they're looking at week 6, but in the same sentence he said it could be week 5, it could be week 10, which means like they have absolutely no idea when he's going to be back.
Even still, like say he's like ready to go week 6, like at what? But like is at 80% efficiency, like 90% efficiency, like is he going to be limited? Like I don't know. That's pretty much a situation where I'm pretty much full fade on him.
I think you got to take him off your draft board. Just I don't even know where you would put him. It's kind of like a Hollywood Brown situation of last year, where like he may not see the field until the playoffs. It's just a question mark. All right, deep dive this week: AFC North, AFC South. You were just at the Ravens camp. We're starting with the Ravens. This was unintentional. Just honestly perfect timing. So biggest storylines for the Ravens this year. What are you seeing?
Yeah, biggest storyline in general just for the Ravens is simply like, can they get over the hump? I feel like I feel like the teams they've had the last 2 years were teams that they thought they could win a Super Bowl with, and they didn't even make it there. And I think they still feel that way. The vibe I got around the place is they're very confident in their team. It's just, they got to put themselves in that position again, and hopefully it goes different for them this time. I mean, it looked like a good football team out there. There's not a ton of holes in that roster, in my opinion. I think they did some good things to shore up the offensive line. Ben Cleveland, Ryan Stanley, I feel like those are good pickups for them. I mean, this is a team that they should be there in the playoffs. They should be one of the favorites in the playoffs. You have one of the best players in the entire league at quarterback. This is a team that should have high expectations for the year.
Yeah, this is second year with offensive coordinator Todd Monken. So they had a great year last year offensively, but I expect them in that second year with Henry, Lamar, Monken, just to, take that next step. SBOB is what I put here. Super Bowl or bust. That's they're one of the teams in that goal. They added D-Hop, added Jair Alexander. Didn't lose too much. I mean, lost some offensive line, lost Justin Tucker, obviously, but let's get to the schedule. They have the highest win total of the year. We talked about this last week with some of a couple other teams. 11.5 is the over-under. What do you see in the schedule? What do you got the Ravens doing?
Yeah, I think it's always like a little bit scary to take an over in the AFC North. I feel like the teams just beat up on each other so much. But again, I think this is a team that can win 13 games. I think I think they're taking it very serious this year. I think this is a team that, I mean, they know the pressure is on them this year. They want to get there. It's a tough schedule. They play a lot of good football teams. You got Lions, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, but I don't know. I really think this team gets on a roll, especially early.
Oh, early, really? I'm looking at the schedule right here, and I think their roll is late.
I know the beginning is brutal. I mean, I really think this could be a 15-2 football team.
Wow.
I am very, very high on the Ravens this year. I think they come out of the gate strong, and I think they keep it going.
Andrew is on whatever the Ravens gave him today at training. Hi guys. I'm looking at the
might be taking some of the Kool-Aid.
I'm looking at the
brutal
of the
start to the schedule.
At Bills,
absolutely.
At Bills, and then Browns coming in, Lions coming in, at Chiefs, Texans coming in, Rams coming in, and bye. Through the first 6 weeks, I got them 4-2, but honestly, 3-3 wouldn't be out of the question. There's just a lot of good teams in there, and then after the bye, week 7, their schedule lightens up. Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets. I mean, there's a lot of wins in that second half of the season.
So let me break it down. The Bills game, I mean, on the road, first game, like that could be a loss. I mean, yes, but you got Browns, that should be a win. Lions, Hutchinson coming off injury, new OC, third week of the season, may still be working out some kinks. I think that's a good time to catch the Lions. Chiefs, fourth game of the year, decent chance Rasheed Rice is still suspended for that. Rasheed Rice still probably suspended for that game. I just think they catch a lot of these teams at good times. This is a team that's had a ton of continuity. I think this is the kind of team that starts a season hot because they have a lot of the pieces are the same. Like, guys have been playing with each other. Like you said, same OC. I think the systems just are in place. I have a good feeling that these Ravens are going to come out hot.
I like it. Let's move over to the Bengals. Storylines here. For me, it's can Burrow overcome ownership? I have no question in my mind that Burrow can play. Jamar T. Higgins can play great football. The offense can do work. I just don't know if the ownership of the Bengals in general is strong enough to put together a solid, good season and a playoff run. Vegas has their win total at 9.5. What do you think about the Bengals this season?
Yeah, I think on paper, this team is just so one-sided offensively. If they don't have Trey Hendrickson on this roster, I mean, this is the single most ideal fantasy setup of all time. You have a defense that is going to struggle stopping anything, and an offense that is just meant to sprint down the field and put the ball in the end zone. I don't know what their front office got going on. I guess it's kind of been a thing for a while now, just struggling to pay players. Maybe it's just kind of their MO. It's not a good look for a team that really should be kind of in win now mode. I mean, this is an unbelievable window. They have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins all locked up, long-term money. I mean, this is your window right now. Like, we should not be having issues getting players signed, getting stuff done. I don't know. It definitely looks a little bit amateur compared to some of what these other top teams have going on.
I think you said it best. It's like a fantasy dream on the offensive side, but I can't remember the last time that a team with this much noise in the offseason, like, you didn't sign your first round draft pick until recently. Trey Hendrickson is still not signed. Like, those types of stories don't add up to, yeah, we made the AFC championship or we won the Super Bowl this year with that type of offseason. But yeah, dream dream fantasy fantasy options. We'll talk about that in a bit. I got them. I still got them having a good season. If they start off a little better than they did last year, I mean, we should be looking at Bengals getting into the playoffs. I got them going 11-6.
Yeah.
That's hitting the over. What about you?
The Bengals love an 0-2 start. They start this year with the Browns and the Jaguars. If they go 0-2 out the gate there, oh my goodness.
Actually,
we're going to hear some things.
I honestly think the NFL gave them an easy start. At the Browns, Jaguars, at the Vikings. Yeah. I think they're going 3-0 to start this season. I do not know much about Al Golden, the defensive coordinator. He just came over from Notre Dame. What do you know about Al Golden, and can he do anything with his defense?
You just asked a Miami Hurricanes fan, what do you know about Al Golden? So, for whatever reason, Al Golden had one of the worst defenses you'll ever see while he was at Miami, and then goes to Notre Dame, becomes a defensive coordinator, and turns into one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. Don't know how that happened. Don't know what happened in there. But his defense last year was fantastic at Notre Dame. I do think he's a good mind, has a good mind for that. I thought he recruited pretty well at Miami. A lot of decent evaluations there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if some of their defensive players in this draft class end up panning out. I'm not the biggest fan on Shamar Stewart going into the draft, but he's obviously a freak talent. If they can turn him into a great pass rusher, that would greatly improve what I think their outlook is on defense this year. I just don't know how much he's really working with, though, with this defense. Like, I'm not really sure it's a schematic issue. It may just be a bodies issue. Like, if you don't have a Trey Hendrickson in there, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do to stop people.
Well, their defense last year was 25th in scoring defense. If they just improve on that a little bit, I'm not saying get a top 10 defense or anything, but, if they, get that up to maybe somewhere between 15 and 20, like Bengals could be a real good team, but I just don't see that happening. I still see their defense being ranked somewhere, I don't know, around 22, 23, 24, 25 in that bottom tier of the NFL. All right, let's move over into the Browns. Storyline here, quarterback. I'm saying it 5 times because they have 5 of them. I even saw a story today saying, did you see the video of Deshaun Watson practicing today on his own? I was like, oh, man, it just keeps getting.
I did not.
He's like saying he's back and feeling good and healthy again. It's just, who's going to start the season for the Browns? Flacco, maybe. Who's going to finish the season for the Browns? I have no idea. They added a lot of offensive line depth to the Browns this year. I will say they added Shador, they added Gabriel, Pickett, added some players in the draft, Harold Fannin. Quinshon Judkins is the last rookie who is not signed yet. I don't know if he's going to see the field this year. Or what have you heard on Quinshon Judkins?
Yeah, that's been quite the saga. It doesn't really look like anything getting signed is like near to happening. I think they may just be waiting for the whole legal process to play out.
So I did
or at least
see
getting farther along.
He waived his right to a speedy process, or to a speedy trial, I mean, which indicated that this wouldn't be going to jury or something till January or December, which could keep him off the field the entire year. I don't know. Either way.
That's a whole mess. I mean, that's not something you want to see with second round pick.
They're probably thinking that they still wish they still had Chubb on the roster right now.
Oh, well, from what I've heard, Chubb has not looked great at Houston. He's just not moving well at all. So I think they did well to loop back and grab Dylan Sampson. I think he can fill in if necessary. And they still have Jerome Ford, who I've thought he's been a pretty solid running back the last few years when he's had to fill in. But I mean, I don't know if running the football is necessarily going to be the biggest concern for this team. I don't know what you're going to see from the passing game. I do think this defense can still get it done a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think this is a team that can win some football games 17-13 if they have to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're not going to be getting in shootouts with anybody, I don't think.
Absolutely not. Vegas has their over-under at 4.5. It's just L's all over the board. I really don't have anything good to say about the schedule of this team. I mean, there's going to be a lot of losses. I got them going 5-12, which is hitting the over. But, I mean, it's just sparingly wins thrown in between 3 or 4 losses here and there, and it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, my caddy Jeff is a big big Browns fan. I've
Yeah.
been talking about through him, and he's really hoping that Shador plays well in these preseason games, so the hype gets enough that their win total goes up to 5.5, so he can smash the under of the 5.5.
Smashing the under on
Yeah,
your homer team. That's not great. Week 9
I
is their bye, and they got the Jets after their bye. So maybe that's the week where we see Shador come in week 10, finish out the season. If it's going poorly win wise, Flacco's not going to be playing the entire year. I wouldn't think.
yeah. I think at some point, I mean, if you're 1-7, 2-7, whatever, like, yeah, fans are just going to want to see the young guys in, whether that's Shador, whether that's Gabriel. They may want to see both, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would not be surprised at all if we see both at some point in time of the year, um, just so management can have eyes on what they drafted.
All right, last team in this division, the Steelers. They had a lot of additions this offseason. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, but Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, DK Metcalf, Jonnu Smith. Also with a bunch of losses, Fields, Russell Wilson, Najee Harris, George Pickens. I was going through their additions and losses in the offseason, and I really don't like some of the names that they brought in, like a DK Metcalf and an Aaron Rodgers. But when you put all the pieces together, like, I do think they're going to be a very serviceable football team and be a very typical 9-win-ish Steelers team. What do you think?
Yeah, they go 9-8,
That's what.
and then
Yeah.
they get rid of a ton of people and bring in a ton of people, and they'll go 9-8. That's how it works. This is the Steelers' way. Yeah, I'm definitely not sold on Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's a good quarterback anymore. DK Metcalf makes almost no sense with him because his deep ball was brutal last year, and that would kind of be one of the main reasons why you'd want DK on your team. I hope it works out for them, but I think this is probably a team that is going to try and play possession football and just beat you with their defense, which they absolutely have the capability to do. This is a very, very good defense. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to see some very gross AFC North games when the Steelers and Browns play each other.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into fantasy. We'll get back into the Ravens. Ravens fantasy. You were just at camp. Let's hear your. Did you get any fantasy any fantasy value out of camp?
Some, again, it was a walkthrough. I was able to see like a little bit of like who was playing in certain formations, but it wasn't anything too crazy. You know, Hill's going to be coming in on like passing down, same as before. Nothing too crazy there. Only unfortunate thing, likely being out injured, meant I couldn't really see like when they were trying to use him and stuff. It was pretty much just Mark Andrews always on the field.
I still have Mark Andrews having a great year. I got him.
Yeah, I mean, with no likely, absolutely.
I got him as the number 6 tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrews is Lamar's guy. He's going to hit him. He had a weird start to the year last year. But after that, I mean, he was his normal self for, what was that, 80% of the year?
It does sound like likely will be back. And I do think the type of injury that Mark Andrews had is one that progresses like more you move on. Like I thought at the beginning of the year last year, he looked incredibly stiff, did not look like he was moving well at all. Towards the end of the year, it did look like he had loosened up a little bit more, was, not back to 100% like what he was pre-injury, but it definitely looked like he was moving better than, week 1, 2, 3, when he was basically putting up zeros.
Right. So Isaiah Likely, I'm looking this up. He had foot surgery in July. So he had foot surgery a month ago, and season starts in, 3 weeks-ish? Yeah, so I guess we can expect him back pretty early in the season there. Maybe it takes a few weeks to get going. All right, Derrick Henry. I feel like a lot of people, even last year, started saying, like, all right, Derrick Henry's getting old. Like, not a first-round fantasy talent anymore. I think differently. What do you think about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, he's a massive human being. I walked by him, and I'm not a small dude. I would have no chance of tackling that guy at all. Like I cannot believe that there's like cornerbacks in the league that are like 5'10", 175, 180 pounds, and they're just like, oh, I gotta go tackle that guy. Like that's a crazy thought to just pop in your brain if that guy's like running at you. I have no idea how they do it. he's ageless at this point. If you want to go draft Derrick Henry, please go do it. He's probably going to score 15 plus touchdowns again. This offense is going to score a lot of points. Yeah, Lamar Jackson runs some in, but there'll be enough touchdowns to go around in this offense. Pass catcher wise, outside of like Zay Flowers and maybe tight ends, like I'm not sure the volume is quite there for this offense. Hopkins is there; he'll probably catch some touchdowns, but again, he's like I just don't see him catching much more than like 4 balls a game. Just the way the volume's probably going to fall in this offense.
Right. So I'll touch back on Derrick Henry again. When you look at his contract, I think this is really going to tell how they're going to use him. So he just re-signed with the Ravens, 2-year, $30 million, $25 million guaranteed. What that tells me is like they have full confidence that for at least this year, I don't know about next year, at least this year, he's going to be his normal Derrick Henry self. That's what they're paying him for. So I got him at number 4 running back. I think he's going to have a great year. Definitely draft him in the first round. Zay Flowers. I love Zay Flowers. I think he's a great wide receiver. Lamar Jackson has just never supported a top 25 wide receiver in fantasy football ever. Last year, Zay Flowers was number 25. So if you want to count that, okay. But 2023, Zay was number 31. Last year, he was 25. I think people might be like, oh, like Zay Flowers is going to take that leap into top 15. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that 25 mark is kind of right where Zay Flowers hangs around, and that's not because of him. I just think it's Lamar Jackson, the player. They're going to run the ball a lot, hopefully not throw it a lot. And yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, he's a touchdown threat, but I got him at wide receiver 61. So, like you said, the volume's probably just not going to be there for him.
I mean, this is a football team that's going to have a lot of game scripts that are just calling for running the football. That's just that's how it's going to fall. They're going to be leading in a lot of football games.
And because of that, Justice Hill actually slots in as a draftable player. I got him, running in the 30s on the running backs just because they're going to be ahead in so many games and running the ball. What do you think about Justice Hill? Not a starting running back, obviously, but I think somewhere down there. Yeah.
I think most of Justice Hill's volume comes in actually the passing game. Like, if I have to start Justice Hill, I'm looking for games like when they play the Chiefs. I'm looking for games like when they play the Lions, or the Bengals, teams that are going to score points and actually keep up. Because if they're up a ton of points, like I want Justice Hill for his receiving volume, not necessarily his rushing volume.
I think it's a scheme thing too, where it's like the other teams, like Justice Hill is in the game, Derrick Henry's not. Like, they must be throwing the ball here, and you kind of throw him off with that. He can get some rush yards. I saw it happen last year. I think it'll happen again this year. Bengals fantasy. We just said how this is a dream fantasy offense. Get your piece of them. They're gonna go quick. Who you got here? Who's your favorite? What do you like?
Yeah, anybody on offense, you can draft them. Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Go for it. I'm not really making the reach for like Mike Gesicki, but the way the offense sets up, Chase Brown's going to have a ton of opportunities. The two mutants are going to catch a ton of footballs. Burrow's going to throw for a ton of yards. I mean, this is a fantastic setup for any of your pass catchers, really. The one thing that'll be interesting is a lot of times I look for a streaming defense to start the season who has 2 super easy matchups to start the year. And I am very terrified that I may end up just drafting Cincinnati Bengals defense for the first 2 weeks. And I really do not know how I feel about that.
Why would you do that?
Because they play the Browns week 1 and then loop around and got Jaguars week 2.
So you're basing it more upon who they're playing than the actual.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. I'm streaming a defense, which is terrifying, but
all right. Yeah. You got to get a piece.
That's kind of my only question with Cincinnati. Anybody else on offense? Yeah. Go ahead and grab them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think T. Higgins has a great year. I actually got Joe Burrow supporting 2 wide receivers in the top 15. I got Chase 1, and I got T. Higgins number 13. And then Chase Brown, who pass catching running back. I actually saw today that his touchdown overs, like people are just pounding the overs. I think it's like 5.5 on the season, but yeah, his overs
seems low.
Seems low. People are pounding it. I will say, I would stay away from Andre Yoshivas and Mike Gesicki. I think that there is a lot in this offense, but Andre Yoshivas just gets not enough volume. And then Mike Gesicki, I had him at tight end 28, but that was before they brought Noah Fant in. So Noah Fant may eat a little bit of his target share. So both tight ends in this offense might not be draftable and might be waiver type players.
Gesicki had a few blow up games last year, but it pretty much always coincided with T. Higgins missing. So, yeah, if everybody's healthy, he's not startable, and I don't really think the tight end position is super startable. Even Tanner Hudson's a capable pass catcher on this team. There's too many decent tight ends. It's hard to really pin down who's going to be, maybe catching the touchdown that week.
All right, Browns fantasy, not a whole lot of players. Pretty bleak looking at the Browns fantasy offense here. For quarterbacks, I just have an X. Don't draft any of them. There are no good quarterbacks to draft. Maybe if Shador starts playing, you can grab him off waivers later, but don't bother drafting him. Jerry Jeudy, I am high on. Browns are going to be losing a lot of games this year. They're going to throw the ball this year. It doesn't matter which quarterback is playing. They're going to have to throw the ball. Jerry Jeudy is a great wide receiver who I actually kind of feel bad for that he's stuck in Cleveland and catching balls from a different quarterback every 3 games. But I got him going off for number 19 wide receiver, 242 fantasy points. Other than that, Judkins was a fantasy option, but I might have to take him off my board at this point. What do you got on the Browns?
I think the ADP is low enough on like Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford to dart throw at this point. Like if you have a starting running back, even on a bad team, like you can get them so late, like honestly kind of worth it in my opinion. If they end up in like a pass catching role and catching 4 or 5 dump offs a game, like that could be super valuable. I think David Njoku is a great value this year. If you just go look at his splits with Joe Flacco at quarterback when Joe played there a couple years ago, it's insane. I know they didn't have much at wide receiver at the time, but Njoku was like on pace for top 2 tight end numbers with Joe Flacco at quarterback. So I think that's potentially worth a dart throw as well because he's sitting more in kind of the mid-tier tight end range, but I do think that there's some serious upside there.
I'm gonna go against you on the Njoku one. I don't like him this year. I think Taco convinced me that Harold Fannin Jr. is actually a good player, and I think that he eats into some of Njoku's target share. I got Harold Fannin Jr., their rookie out of Bowling Green, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got him at tight end 27 and Njoku at tight end 18. I just think having another good player in there will eat into some of that share. And then Njoku may not play a full season. He likes to get dinged up and miss a couple games, so you're a little higher on Njoku than I am. Let's move into the last team in this division for fantasy. Steelers. There's some players everywhere. No one really high on the board, though. What do you got on the Steelers?
Yeah, the Steelers, I don't think I'm really touching anybody on this team.
I will say,
I've kind of gone around
that, if you can get late, there's value, but there's no one you're really getting in the top couple rounds here.
I think the hottest name probably right now on this team is Caleb Johnson, the rookie out of Iowa. I think he's been a very popular guy. People are looking to make that jump. I'm not fully sold. I don't know if this team's going to be winning enough games. I don't think he brings enough as a pass catcher. So I'm not quite sold there on that. In general, I don't really like this Steelers team much this year, so I will probably be fading them for the most part. Unless their defense is available, and I will be grabbing that.
Yeah, defense for sure. I don't think their offensive line is good enough to support a great running back play either. They got 2 good ones there. I got them both going in the 30s. DK Metcalf, he's going to be the wide receiver 1 here. I just don't take him too early. I got him wide receiver 27, so he is down the board. I would not take any. I wouldn't be reaching on DK in any fantasy drafts. If he's there and he's still available, later, sure, grab him. He's definitely going to have weeks where he puts up a lot of points, maybe 2 touchdown weeks, but I just don't see him being consistent throughout the entire season. I will say, though, Calvin Austin III, not many people have heard of him. I like a dart throw on him late. If you have to throw him in there for a couple games somewhere, I got him at wide receiver 52. Anything else we're really looking at here?
Yeah, I don't even know how much Calvin's going to be playing for him, but Roman Wilson, I guess, would be another dart throw you could do. I think the Steelers organization really likes what they've seen from him. He was draft pick last year, got hurt, didn't play at all. Could be a decent player. Like I like Jalen Warren, the player, but like having Kenneth Gainwell is kind of redundant there, so I don't know how that's going to fall. So yeah, I really just am not going to be doing much with the Steelers team.
All right, let's move into the AFC South. That was the AFC North. Deep dive, real life football. We're going to get out of fantasy for a second. AFC South. Let's start with the Texans. Stroud bounce back year? Question mark. Nick Caley, offensive coordinator. He's the new offensive coordinator for the Texans. Prior to this, he was the Rams passing game coordinator. Rams always have a pretty good passing game under Sean McVay. So he's coming over to the Texans from the Rams. Remember when Bobby Slowick was like the hot name for like taking a coaching job and he didn't do it? And
Yeah.
now I don't even know where he went. He was the OC for the Texans. He got canned. But yeah, just like 2 years ago, they were like, this OC is going to be the next head coach somewhere. And a year later, he's gone. So that's kind of crazy. Got to strike when the iron's burning. Something like that. I don't know what the saying is. Strike when the iron's hot.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
Got it. Yeah, I mean this team was a bit of a mess. It really was. Mostly the offensive line was a bit of a mess last year. They had injuries and stuff in the receiver room, but you could tell they were definitely trying to address the offensive line this offseason with all of their offensive line. I mean, they just took all of the offensive line journeymen available and signed them all, and they're just going to hope that works. I guess it can't really be much worse than last year.
No, I mean they had to get offensive line. You get Laramie Tunsil gone, Shaq Mason gone. Yeah, so you had to
Traded Kenyon Green. Yeah.
so you bring in a left tackle. You draft a couple rookie wide receivers who you were hoping work out pretty well with Tank Dell out for the entire season. Vegas has their win total at 9.5. This division is pretty bad. I think you got to pencil the Texans in as the champion of this division, but I got them going 11-6. Just a solid football team here, and like there's just when I look at tough games for like the Bills and the Chiefs and some of these top teams, like I consider the Texans a tough game. Like they are a good team. So any team that's average to poor, like they are just rolling over, and there are a lot of average to poor teams in their division.
I think their division is soft. I think the Texans' schedule is tough. I think they got stuck with a lot of tough games, and this is a team that I could see disappoint this year. I do think the offensive line will be a little bit better. I think you'll see some improvement from the offense. I am very much concerned at what they've got going on with Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb right now. Mm-hmm. I think the running backs situation is very much a question mark.
CJ Stroud's not someone that worries me throwing 35, 38 times a game, though. Like, I don't mind having him throw 30-plus times on a regular week to get wins as opposed to some other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think that's partly why going out and getting those wide receivers early in the draft was kind of big for them. I do think they have a good pass-catching unit, so I'm not worried about them slinging it around a bunch, but I don't know. I do see holes in this roster that do concern me, and I see a tough schedule in my opinion. So I do think the 9.5 number is actually pretty fair in my opinion, even though I do think that this team is probably pretty clearly the best team in this division.
Let's move over to the Colts. Shane Steichen is the head coach of the Colts. Over the past 2 seasons, he is 17-17. Do you think Shane Steichen's seat is getting a little warm? I mean, Jim Irsay is no longer with us, so I mean, he definitely brought Shane Steichen in, and with the change in ownership, I mean, it's not a change in ownership, his daughters own it now, but still, like, they could have a different vision of where this team's going. Do you think Shane Steichen is around for another year after this 2025 season?
I personally have a down year for the Colts, to the point where they will be drafting very early next year, and probably seeing a coaching change. They just didn't do a ton in the offseason. Like, it looked like they tried to kind of bolster the secondary, improve the defense a little bit. That's good. They definitely got their guy in the draft. It seemed like they had wanted Tyler Warren for a long time. A lot of mocks had him going there. But I'm not sold. You got Anthony Richardson not looking any better in the preseason. He's already, hurt his finger.
I'm going to throw this one on you. At any point this season, do we see Riley Leonard start a game for the Colts?
I surely hope not. Maybe. I doubt it. Like, I think you see Daniel Jones start a lot of games this year for the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson starts a few games. I don't know, maybe like week 18 they throw him out there. I don't think it matters though. Like, the way I have it going, I think they're picking top 5 and they'll be taking a quarterback next year anyway. So I don't see Riley Leonard being the answer regardless.
Yeah, Vegas has their win total at over under 7.5. I got them going 7 and a 10. They just did a lot of weird things this offseason. Like, they brought some offensive pieces in. They brought some defensive pieces in. They lost their center. They lost their right guard. Bring Daniel Jones. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going all over. And if they go, I got them going 7 and 10 this year. That puts them at, that would put Shane Steichen under 500 after 3 years of being a head coach. So I think this is the year they move on from him as well. Let's move over to the Jaguars. A lot of interesting stuff going on with them. You attended a Jaguars camp a week or two ago. You said they had pads on. What'd you see out at Jaguars camp?
Yeah, I saw some decent football. I was looking at a few different things. Travis Hunter played defense pretty much the entire day. Did a little small walkthrough portion with the offense. They were rotating the running backs a lot. I saw a lot of decent play from the wide receivers. I was really impressed by Parker Washington while I was there that day. I don't know how much I'll see the field this year if Travis Hunter's going to be playing some slot and stuff, but I thought he looked really nice. I don't know. I think that the Jaguars will be much improved on last year. It's just how much I do believe in Liam Cohen, the coach. I think he'll have this team going in the right direction. I just don't know how quickly it can be flipped. I think you will see a better Trevor Lawrence this year. I'm not sure you're going to see the defense make enough of a jump for it to be a playoff team, though.
Yeah, so in this offseason, they added a new GM, new head coach, a new defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator is Anthony Campanile. He's the linebackers coach out of Green Bay. So he's coming to Jacksonville. He will be heading up the defense. They add a right guard, add a center. Yeah, there's so many changes here that I think it's going to take the Jaguars a while to get going. Week 8 is their bye. I haven't going off to a really, really tough start. Panthers at the Jags, that's an L. At the Bengals, I got that an L. Texans at the Jags, L. At the 49ers, L. Chiefs come into town at the Jags, L. I got them going 0-5 to start. I have a lot of wins on the back end of this schedule. I just don't think that this is the season where the Jaguars, pull it all together with this new regime really quickly.
Yeah, it is a really tough start to the schedule.
I said 0-5, but if they went 1-4 through those teams, you'd be like, yeah, it's kind of what it's looking like.
Yeah, they're only going to be favored in one of those games. So realistically, I do think that they spent some money, tried to fill some pieces. I think there was a lot of emphasis put on the trenches. This offseason, obviously, they went and draft, got Travis Hunter, but signing an Emmanuel Ogba, I think they understand that needed to get better. You can't just get bullied on both sides of the ball. So, I don't know. I think, again, I don't know, it's Vegas. 7.5 seems like a pretty good over-under to me. But I do think this is a team that it will look a lot better this year.
You just heard me talk about how bad I have them starting, and their over-unders at 7.5. I actually have them hitting their over. So what I might do is, I have them starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 0-5 and hitting their over. So maybe once they have a terrible start to the season, I put some money down on the Jaguars to hit their over. I got them at week 8 bye, but after the bye, at Raiders, at Texans, Chargers at Jags, at Cardinals, at Titans, Colts, Jets, Colts, Titans. There's a ton of wins in the second half of the season. So I'm going 8-9, and then this offseason there's a ton of buzz around the Jaguars about like year 2 Liam Cohen and maybe starting to make their uptick then.
Mm-hmm.
Titans. Your boy Cam Ward. That's the big storyline
right.
here. Why don't you start with the Titans? What do you got for storylines?
Yeah, I think the Titans did a lot of what you kind of want if you're a rookie quarterback coming into the league. A rookie quarterback, first overall pick coming into the league. Typically, if you're the first overall pick, you are going to a team that is not good. You're going to a situation that's going to be tough. I don't think Cam Ward has a ton of pass catching help, but I do like what the Titans did to try and go boost the offensive line to at least give him a chance, going out, getting Dan Moore, spending that money, going and grabbing a Kevin Zeitler. Like, these are moves that will pay off just, giving Cam a little bit of time to see the field, get comfortable, not be, seeing ghosts out there.
So for our listeners,
I think that'll...
Kevin Zeitler was the right guard for the Lions, Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. He just came in. He's now playing for the Titans.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot, I guess, in the receiver market. They went out and got like Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, nothing crazy there. They did draft 2 wide receivers as well. Like, they were trying to piece it together. They were hoping Treylon Burks would take the jump this year. He's no longer even on the team after getting hurt for the same every single year he's been in the league. But I don't think it's as horrible of a spot coming in as it could be. I trust Cam Ward, the talent there. I'm not sure this defense is going to be fantastic, but I think this could be a solid team. I probably see them finishing. They could finish second in this division, maybe third, but I do see them going over their win total this year.
Yeah, I don't have them going over their win total. I will say that. I have the Titans struggling, which is okay. I mean, they got Cam Ward coming in. I just don't think they have the pieces. This team is not built to win. I think it's the same thing as the Jaguars. Struggle to start the season, stack some wins late, get a top draft pick, and then, the offseason is Cam Ward year 2. Like, let's see what we can do in this offseason. I texted you and Taco about this a week ago. I was looking at lines for week 1. I don't know why I was looking at lines for week 1. That's pretty degenerate of me to be looking at NFL lines 5 weeks in advance. But the Titans are at the Broncos week 1. The Broncos are favored by 7.5. I'm locking this in now for my week 1 picks. I'm taking Broncos -7.5 at the Broncos. The Broncos, to me, have the best defense in the NFL. Cam Ward, rookie quarterback, coming in. Just a lot of moving parts for that team. I have the Broncos absolutely destroying the Titans in the first week, so I'm locking that pick in now at -7.5. I don't care what the line is week 1, but that one's locked in for me. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, minus, whatever it is. If Spears is out that game, that's obviously a big knock on the offense. I would just warn you not to go watch what Cam Ward did going into somebody's place week 1 last year to start the season. So,
I mean, it's tough. I got at Broncos, and you got Rams at Texans. I got them struggling here to start the season. All right, let's get over into the fantasy side of the AFC South. We'll start with the Texans. Texans fantasy. CJ Stroud, great quarterback in real life. In fantasy, just not really who you want on your team. I got him ranked at the number 24 quarterback. Joe Mixon has an injury right now. Nick Chubb's been struggling a little bit right now. When you look throughout this Texan team, the wide receivers is where you're going to want to be.
Yeah, I think, CJ Stroud doesn't really run the ball much. So, as far as fantasy values, quarterback, he's got to be slinging it a bunch, but I do think this is a situation where you could see him slinging it a bunch. With the running back questions they have. I do think they're going to have to throw it a lot. I'm cool with taking any of the pass catchers, including the rookies. I'm a big believer in Higgins, Noel, both Iowa State guys. Very different style. Higgins is more that bigger body, Nico Collins type. Obviously, go grab Nico. Nico has legit chance to be top 3, top 4 wide receiver in the league this year if he stays healthy. He's going to see so much work, and he can do a lot with a lot of deep shots potentially. And then Noel's more of your slot, like possession kind of just move the sticks guy. PPR could be, sneaky little 6 for 65 and just, making those big catches on third down. So I like both those guys. If you are taking a big old dart throw in a deeper league, Woody Marks, drafted out of USC this year, he could just flat out be one of the main guys in the backfield. Like if Nick Chubb can't move and if Joe Mixon is like still mysteriously injured, he may get a lot of work. He can catch the ball, really nice, good hands out of the backfield. If he's asked to run it, he can do that too. So I think he's worth kind of a very, very late round pick if you're really digging in the weeds.
Say that name again. I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, Woody Marks. He played at US. Yeah,
all right.
Played at USC. I believe before that he was at Mississippi State in the. I can check that, but he was at Mississippi State in the air raid system and caught a ton of balls.
All right. Yeah. We'll move over into the Colts fantasy. Both these quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, I would not draft either one of them. I got them both pretty much at the bottom of the quarterback board just because we don't know who's going to be starting, how many games they're going to be starting. Obviously, Anthony Richardson, like when he starts, has fantasy value, but I don't know how many starts he's going to get. I don't know if he's going to be injured or not. Throughout this entire roster, I mean, there's really not much fantasy value unless you're looking at like a Jonathan Taylor type player.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor's going to get a ton of work this year, though. So I do think that he is a running back one, lock it in, like back end of the first round type pick. Maybe early second round, but I trust
Taylor. I'm not very high on Taylor.
Somebody on the offense got to move the ball. If anything, though, I do like Josh Downs a little bit this year. Daniel Jones does have a bit of a propensity to just spam slot receivers. He did it with Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants. So I think Downs could get there, especially in PPR. He can get you a bunch of catches. Maybe not as much in like the touchdown thing. I don't know who's going to score touchdowns for this team other than like Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor, but they just may not score many in general.
Yeah,
so
when it comes to wide receivers here, Michael Pittman and Josh Downs, I think Josh Downs may be further down in ADP, but I have him getting very similar value to Michael Pittman. I got him scoring the same exact fantasy points this year. So if you can get Josh Downs like in a later round as opposed to Michael Pittman, I think that's a better play.
I think they're both in like the wide receiver 45, wide receiver 50 sort of ADP range. They're like right near each other right now.
Yep. Alec Pierce, I know he can go off sometimes. Undraftable player. Do not draft him. You can get him on waivers. Your look on your face was like, did you say draft him? I don't think no. Let's go to the Jaguars. Jaguars fantasy. Another quarterback here who you probably should not take. Trevor Lawrence. I got him at quarterback number 25. I want to talk about the running backs here for a second. I was really high on Travis Etienne. I think a lot of people were because they're like, oh, what's that? Liam Cohen's the coach? Oh, where was he last year? Oh, the Buccaneers? Oh, was Bucky Irving good? Yeah, he was. Oh, maybe Travis Etienne will be good again. But you have some different information. You're telling me that you think they're going to go more committee and that Etienne's not going to be this top running back?
I don't know how it'll fall. I think that there is crazy upside in this backfield because I do think that the offensive style they run will create opportunities in the pass game. Just opportunities in general for the running backs. It did for Bucky Irving. I'm not saying any of the guys on this roster are the talent that Bucky Irving is, but I think Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, even the rookie Bashal Tutin, they all seem to have gotten first-team reps at some point in time in camp. It is really hard to just pinpoint which one you want to draft. If it's late enough, you can throw a dart on one and just hope it sticks, but it very well may just end up being an unstartable player. So ton of risk in this backfield, but I do think that there is potential reward if you do get it right.
Okay. Travis Hunter, do you think that helps or hurts Brian Thomas Jr.'s value?
I don't think it really changes it. Like BTJ is like a top 10 wide receiver. Lock it in. Trevor was looking for him when I was there. He caught at least 2 or 3 touchdowns when I was there when they were doing red zone drills. He was looking for him. He's the first read on a lot of plays.
Ooh, I like hearing
Gets
that.
open, catches the ball.
I had him at number 8 wide receiver, but after hearing that, I might have to bump him up a little bit, give him a couple more fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, ton of talent there. He will be the guy. I mean, I think Travis Hunter will catch balls. You have other guys. They
brought in Diami
De'Ami Brown.
Diami Brown is a
Parker
draftable
Washington
player in fantasy.
These are guys that could catch 3-4 balls a game, but it's going to be Brian Thomas show for sure.
Let's talk about Travis Hunter for a second. I got him going at wide receiver 41, 187 fantasy points. I see him playing. I mean, I watched his preseason game. He looked okay on offense. Caught some balls. I don't want people expecting this guy to be like a top 20 wide receiver. It's not going to happen, I don't think. What about you?
You say Travis Hunter? Yeah, he's a very good player, very talented player, but I just even if he ends up being a stud, I don't think he's the number one. That is Brian Thomas's role. So he could end up doing some fun stuff out of the slot. He could end up being a good player, but I got a feeling that there's probably somebody in your league that just loves Travis Hunter and will probably either spend up for him or draft him early, and that's probably just not going to be me.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be me either. Let's go to the last team, Titans Fantasy. All right, so Tajay Spears, he just got injured. He's going to be out for a little bit. Tony Pollard, that brings his value up a little bit. So I really did think Tajay Spears was going to have a pretty good year. I had him around running back. I had him in the low 30s, 32. But now that he's down, Pollard's getting bumped up to. He's got to take over some of that points. I got Pollard coming back up into the 20s, 28 on running backs. Do you have him a little higher than that? Where do you have Pollard?
Yeah, I think especially with no Spears, I think Pollard, for what it'll be, first 2-3 weeks could be a great start. Could be a guy you draft, let him go off for a week or two, especially against the Broncos that won't be able to stop the Titans.
Put him on the trade block.
Throw him on the trade block. I'm not really loving the backfield because I think regardless, at some point you're just going to have a split and it's going to be tough to predict maybe who gets the touchdown that week or who's getting most of the work. I think it's a good football situation, not a great fantasy situation. I don't know if this offense is going to be high-powered enough to really support 2 running backs. At best, maybe it would support 1, but if it's split between 2 guys, that's not really usable. So this backfield's a little tough to get to. I like you preferred Spears just on the talent there, but with him dinged up, it's going to be tough to get him.
Cam Ward, draftable rookie or no?
Probably got to see it first. I don't really know what this offense is going to look like. I do trust the talent there, but he's mobile, but he's not probably running for 40 plus a game.
I can see him like a CJ Stroud type player where he's not really moving around. He's going to be, even if he's a good football player, I don't see him really breaking that top 20 fantasy quarterback type player.
He definitely hunts the big play. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's fully Jameis levels, but you could see some of that where he's just putting up big numbers, may make some silly turnovers, but that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing for fantasy. Maybe you lose a point for an interception or something, but it turns into an extra drive later in the game where they're really trying to chase back. So I don't know. It's taking a dart thrown a rookie. I'd rather just kind of wait for it. And, if he starts playing well, then maybe grab him off waivers.
Calvin Ridley. I am very high on Calvin Ridley. I got him going wide receiver 14. I know I said I don't take preseason seriously. I watched Cam Ward throw a couple balls to him, and I was like, I'm hot on those two.
Drinking the Kool-Aid on Calvin Ridley.
But realistically, Calvin Ridley had an okay year last year, and that was with who was it? Will Levis last year, who led the league
and Mason Rudolph
in pick sixes. So I'm just assuming Cam Ward is a better quarterback than what they had. He's gonna be losing games. He's gonna have to throw the ball. I really think this is a sick year to get Calvin Ridley on your team. I'm even okay reaching a little bit on Ridley this year just because I'm so confident that he is going to be that number 1 wide receiver for the Titans and put up big points.
Yeah, that seems to be a popular take right now. That at his current ADP is a bit of a value, and I definitely agree. Like Cam's got to throw to somebody. They drafted a bunch of receivers. They brought in some guys, but these are either older guys that are more like either past their prime or just never really been like much of a threat, or these are rookies and you don't really know what you're going to get. Like, even if one of the rookies ends up being a good player for them, like I still think there's going to be enough passing volume for this team where Calvin Ridley is probably going to end up being a pretty good player to draft.
Eric Iomenor. You know this guy on the
Yeah,
Titans?
from Stanford.
Yeah.
Go watch his film with Travis Hunter guarding him in college.
Apparently,
It's
he's tearing it up in practice.
impressive. Yeah, he's impressive. Big body receiver. Can cook you on the slant routes. He's got a little, enough shiftiness there where he can body you off. Jump balls, go
I
balls.
don't think his ADP
He's
is high enough
talented.
to draft, but it's definitely a name that I'm going to keep my eye on and see what he does throughout the first week or two because I've been hearing good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into fantasy drafting. Last week, we went through spots 1 through 4. This week, we're going through spots 5 through 8. If you're drafting in spots 5 through 8 in your fantasy draft, you can go ahead and cross Jamar off your list. You can go ahead and cross Bijan off your list. And you can likely go ahead and cross Saquon off your list. Best case scenario, you're in spots 5 through 8. I think these are best case scenario. I think you're looking at like a Jameer, a Puka, a Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, a Derrick Henry. I'm a little low on CeeDee Lamb. But what do you think's the best case for those spots there?
Yeah, in my values, I have CeeDee Lamb at 5th. I have Justin Jefferson at 6, Neighbors at 7, and Puka at 8. If Gibbs makes it to you at one of those spots, you're smashing draft and loving it. But in this window, I think you're pretty much just only looking at wide receivers available with one of these picks.
Yeah, a lot of wide receivers there. All right, so you grab a wide receiver there, 5 through 8. You get your guy. Now it's looping back to round 2. If you're going to do a Brock Bowers move, this is your one and only shot to do it. Second round, take your pick. You're not going to do him in the first round at spots 5 through 8. And by the time it rolls back to you in the third round, there is a very good likelihood he's gone. So if you're going to do your Brock Bowers, this is where you do it. I got him putting up 280 fantasy points this year. That is 40 fantasy points more than the next best tight end on my board. So yeah, if you're going to do it, this is your spot. Let's say you don't do it though. What is the best case for this round?
Yeah, I had Bowers singled out as one of the things.
Yep.
I think if Bucky makes it to you, especially after taking wide receiver in the first round, I think Bucky is a great option to grab a running back there. I think if you want to start wide receiver, I think you could just really stack a ton of targets. Like if you go CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, or something like that, you're going to get so many balls thrown your way. So especially in like a PPR or something like that, even if it's like Malik Neighbors, Drake London, or something like that, you're just going to have such a high floor with those two players because they're going to see so many targets. You can probably loop around and figure out running back later, maybe take some, more risky shots on running back to try and bring it back later.
I'm a little different on you. I like taking my guaranteed running back shots early and taking my risks later with them. I got Josh Jacobs in here in that second round. I think this dude's going to be a touchdown machine again. Jordan Love likes throwing the ball, but a lot of those guys aren't catching the touchdowns. It's Josh Jacobs running it in, putting it through at the end. I got him at the number 5 running back, so if you want to take him in the second round here, I do not hate it. The other options here in that second round are Josh and Lamar. I got Lamar and Josh both getting 400-plus fantasy points here. If you really, really love them, I'm okay taking them because there's a good chance by the time it loops back to you in round 3 that Josh and Lamar are gone. So if you're in love with one of those, take them. But again, not something you have to do there in that second round. All right, so you get your guy first round, loops back second round. You're stacking, like you said, 2 wide receivers there. It's round 3. It's coming back to you. What are you looking at in this position?
Even if you missed out on one of those guys, I'm not against taking a Jaden Daniels if he's there in round 3.
Yep.
If you don't like how it's fallen. Otherwise, you could, I think T. Higgins is probably one of my favorite options of the wide receivers that are looking like available there. And then I just had this noted because we talked about it last week and you were a little surprised I was talking about third round. Amari and Hampton's ADP right now, it's just according to just Fantasy Pros taking everything into account. He's sitting at 35. I mean, that's a third round pick right now, basically.
He's moving up then because I was
Yeah,
seeing him probably closer to early fourth round a couple of
yeah,
days ago. So even with that Slater injury, his ADP is moving up. So they
yeah.
must have saw your
The Slater
they
that
saw our
definitely dings him a
Instagram
bit.
video of me of you talking about Marion, and they were like,
Yeah,
"Oop,
the Slater thing definitely dings him. I think the Najee thing is what has boosted him up so much. Just like the uncertainty there. But
yeah." This is I have Burrow above Jaden Daniels in fantasy points this year, so I'm okay even taking Burrow in this spot. T Higgins, I've got crazy value on Garrett Wilson. I like him in this spot in the third round. We talked about him and Justin Fields. I will say it might look third round like Jalen Hurts is going to be there. Alvin Kamara is going to be there. I don't think this is the spot where you go Jalen Hurts or Alvin Kamara. I don't see. I think those guys are kind of fourth round picks, and I think reaching to the third round and getting one of those guys is a little too early.
yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, the Saints offense is going to be pretty gross this year. Kamara will probably get the ball a lot, but just don't see them doing a whole lot with it.
All right, that was drafting spots 5 through 8. Next week we're gonna go through 9 through 12 for those 12-man fantasy leagues. All right, this year this is something new that we are doing. This is season 3, but it's the first year we are doing this. I've been getting a lot of messages about doing a public fantasy pool. We're in so many fantasy leagues. We think that the best option is to do a survivor pool. It's going to be really fun. What a survivor pool is. You pick one team every week, not against the spread. You just pick that team straight up for the win. If that team wins, you move on to the next week, and you can no longer use that team. So we are going to be doing a survivor pool. There is no entry fee. This is absolutely free. We're trying to get as many people in as we can. It is on Sleeper. There are no revives. You miss 1 week, you miss one game, you are done. There are 500 spots in this Sleeper pool. Like I said, is no entry fee, and we are doing $500 cash to the winner. So that is a $0 entry fee and a $500 cash prize. So I don't see why you wouldn't do it. How you're going to enter, you're going to go to the screenplaypodcast.com. Up top, tab, right in big letters. It's right there. It says Survivor Pool. You click on that. It brings you to the Sleeper app. You sign up for our Survivor Pool. Winner is going to get $500 cash. We're going to be going through that every single week. It's going to be a segment. So the screenplaypodcast.com, hit the tab Survivor Pool, sign up, play along with us, see if you can beat a PGA Tour pro in Survivor Pool. It's going to be a lot of fun. It might last 1 week. It might last 15 weeks. We don't know, but yeah, that's going to be fun to follow.
Evan getting knocked out week 1 when he takes the Broncos and Cam Ward walks in and just stomps him is going to be,
I tell you what,
incredible content.
I'll tell you what, I got my girlfriend signed up already. I'm a little, that's my one. I'm like, I can't.
Oh, so you have 2. That's real fair.
I don't have,
That's
I
great.
do not have 2. I just have some competition. I just can't be.
You signed up through your girlfriend's account. That's like
No.
the oldest trick in the book, bud. All right. That's not getting past anybody. Come on.
No, I swear. Okay. All right. Next week we got the NFC East and the NFC West. This week Andrew has the BMW Championship in Owings Mills, Maryland. It's the second leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. We'll follow along for that. Go on YouTube at screenplay_podcast. Follow us, subscribe, full-length videos, shorts. Follow us on socials, Instagram, TikTok at screenplay_podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m. YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. But get on the screenplaypodcast.com. Sign up for the Survivor Pool. Play along. Andrew, any last words this week?
No, just appreciate all the love. I've been hearing some screenplay podcast shout-outs at some of the tournaments, and it's been really cool to see. Just appreciate y'all listening.
All right, we will see y'all next week. Appreciate y'all.